All right, so we're out here at the grill. So I'll flip the camera around here in just a second, but we're gonna be roasting over some oak wood and using an iron skillet. So let me go ahead and flip the camera around. All right, so here we got some good oak. I believe it's post oak. And we got our cast iron, our lighter fluid. So we're gonna go ahead and get this fire started, start heating it up so we can come out here with our beans and everything cleaned and ready to go and start the process. So go ahead and get this started. All right. Now we'll leave that alone. We want the temperature somewhere between 400 and 450. So we'll let that start doing its thing while we get this cast iron. All right, so the grill is heating up. We're gonna let that wood just kind of burn down a little bit before we go ahead and start roasting. So we're gonna let the grill keep cooking for a little bit. In the meantime, show you the rest of the tools we'll be using. Just a whisk, something to keep the beans stirring constantly. Don't ever wanna let them sit. And then we have a colander or a strainer that once they're done roasting, we're gonna kind of put them in here, give them some airflow, toss them around. Now the beans we're gonna be cooking today, Primo's Coffee Company. While we're still waiting for the grill to reach the appropriate temperature, went ahead and poured about a cup of beans into the skillet. So you just want about the entire surface area covered. So with the whisk, about covering the full surface area. Now, traditionally, you'll want to roast coffee beans in a coffee roaster. You'll wait until you hear the first crack, and then after that you'll start counting the seconds on whether you want a light, medium, or dark roast. You know, you don't want to burn the beans and therefore take the flavor away. And an iron skillet, it's harder to get an even cook on each bean. So after we hear the first crack, we're going to continue to stir until we get the desired color and consistency. So roasting in a skillet is not the best method. However, it is a way you can do it at home without having to go out and buy an expensive coffee roaster. Now the wife's not home, so I'm going to be using her nice hot pad out here. Don't tell her, but we'll be putting that back when we're done. But we're going to be putting the skillet directly on the grill, over the flame, so it's going to get a little hot, so you're going to want a hot pad or something to grab it with. All right, we're going to go ahead and put these beans on the fire, so let's get started. Like I said, you want that good personal protection equipment, good PPE. Now, flame is still kind of burning on this side. We're going to put it on this side. So we'll get that on. And we want to quickly start stirring those beans right away. If we were roasting these in a coffee roaster, that would be a sign that we're getting close. However, since we are cooking these in a skillet, the cook is going to be uneven on every single bean. So we're going to keep stirring until we get a consistency in the pan that we like. We don't want to see a variety of different colors. We want to be as consistent as we can. You know, starting to see a couple that are getting there, but not quite yet for the whole bunch. So we've moved now from a peanut brown to almost a pinto bean color. A little darker. You're going to want that to be solid, dark, coffee brown all the way through though. So continue to stir. You don't want them to sit too long, start to burn. I need to buy a coffee roaster. It's getting too hot for this. Alright, that's about right. So, now we're going to transfer them from skillet into the colander as best we can. Let that cook off. And now these are extremely hot, so we want to be careful with them. And just kind of give them some air, let them cool down. That's what we have here. Some good coffee beans. We want to continue to give them just a quick shake. Like I said, we're trying to get them cooled off. We're going to do this for a little bit, let them get to a nice cool temperature before we put them in a vacuum seal container. Now you might be like me. You just roasted the coffee, you're excited to try it. Well, good news and bad news. Good news, the hardest part of the process is now over. Bad news, you're gonna have to wait a week to 10 days before you can grind and brew this coffee. So went ahead, put it here in the storage container. We're going to seal it shut. Now we got a couple days to wait. Thank you for watching. Now I'll be making part 2 about grinding and brewing this coffee once it's been about a week to 10 days. Thanks, see you next time.